welcome to your student services video for our rising seniors and parents of rising seniors. Congratulations, guys, you have made it. We hope that you have been enjoying your time with family during this pandemic, and we hope that you guys are all safe. Our department wanted to come and just give you some useful information to kind of help you plan out your time for the summer, as well as give you some information about what it's going to look like next year as a senior to kind of prepare you for your life after high school. So that being said, I'm going to start the presentation. First thing is we want to help you all understand that even though it may seem like the only option that we're talking about is 2 or 4 year college, that is not the only option that you have. There are options to join the workforce, to pursue your own entrepreneurship goals, to join the military, or even take a gap year. So we'll talk a little bit about those options as well. So for those of you who are interested in joining the workforce or entrepreneurship, Butler does have some personnel and resources available to kind of help you jumpstart those options. We are grateful to Ms. Memory, our career development coordinator over in our career center, who can link students with local professionals for employment, as well as job shadow and internship opportunities, and even helping you all to improve your professional skills like resume writing or interview skills. So she's a great resource for our students. If you cannot access her face to face, you do have access to her website, which is on the Butler website under Career Center. We also have a number of CTE classes and student clubs like DECA and Future Business Leaders of America that can help to develop some of your ideas and concepts of business and entrepreneurship. If you want to learn more about those clubs, again, you can visit the Butler website under clubs and organizations to find out who the advisors are. Joining the armed forces is a great way for you to get some specialized training as well as to have your education paid for. The branches of military will be the Army, the Navy, the Marines, Air Force, and or National Guard. We have had quite a few students who have gone to the military after graduating high school, and they've had great success so far. And we also have opportunities for students to talk to representatives from some of these branches of the military as well. So if you want to learn more about that, you can definitely see your counselor during the school year. So a gap year is also an opportunity for students. For some of us who just may not have it figured out, at the age of 17 or 18, imagine that. It's okay if you don't have it figured out. That would be a good time for you to just kind of stop and get some planning done, make some goals. If you just need to have a break from school for a year because you just burned out on school, that's understandable. Or if you want to work and save money to put towards your college education, or if you just have an opportunity to travel and you want to pursue that opportunity. Taking a gap year is a good idea as long as you have a plan for after that year is over. You don't want to just be sitting idly. You want to have a concrete plan on what you're going to be doing after that year so that you can continue to pursue your goals. Think about where you might see yourself in the next 10 years, right? So, what kind of job do you see yourself having? Does it require a college degree? Because all jobs and careers do not require college degrees. What kind of environment do you see yourself working in? Is it an office? Is it outside? Maybe a combination of both. Do you see yourself in a more relaxed environment, more structured or social? And then what do you need to do to actually prepare yourself for that ideal job? Most jobs do require some type of training or higher education outside of your high school diploma. So even if it's the military or the workforce, at some point you'll probably find that you're going to need to have some type of specialized training outside of just having your diploma. So something to keep in mind. Those of you who are definitely considering going to a 2 or 4 year college, how do you start that process? So you want to start by thinking about your interests, what you're good at, what you feel connected to, your abilities, and those are the things that should drive your college search, right? A lot of students get wrapped up in what their friends are doing, where their friends are applying, or even sometimes where their parents went to school. They want to kind of continue that tradition, but you have to be very intentional as this is a really individualized process to each individual student and not necessarily, the other factors that might be going into your decision. So make sure you're thinking about you, yourself, and what you're interested in to make sure that it's a good fit for you. So some characteristics that you might want to consider for the college selection process would definitely be location. I know you can't see it there, but location, do you want to stay close to home? Do you want to stay in state but not so close to home? Do you want to go out of state? Are you going to be prepared to travel several times a year back and forth between your college campus and home? One thing that is notable, to be mentioned here is the pandemic. A lot of those college students did not plan on having to go home so early in the semester, and their families may not have been prepared financially for the cost of getting them back home. So that's just something to think about, not only in an emergency situation, but also during breaks, during the summertime or winter breaks, spring break, when you have to leave campus. Is your family going to have the means to transport you to and from college and home? Think about the student body. Are you looking for a student body that's drawn from across the country, across the world perhaps, or are you looking for more of a smaller demographic area? What do you think about school and class sizes? Are you going to be more comfortable in an environment where the class sizes are close to a high school or maybe smaller even than your high school? Or are you comfortable having 50 or more students in a class per se, maybe a lecture hall? Think about the academic requirements. This is a really good time for students to be doing some self reflection and thinking about who you are realistically as a student, right? Do you really have the academic record that's going to be seriously considered by highly competitive institutions? Do you meet the requirements of the schools that you're actually interested in? So, really start doing some self reflection and some research about what those schools are looking for in terms of who they admit and who you are as a student. The academic structure. Do you feel like you're attracted to more large universities that have many schools within the universities, many colleges underneath that umbrella, or smaller single purpose institutions? Are you geared more towards a liberal art type curriculum or a professional curriculum? What's going to work best for you? Think about campus life. Do you want to be someone who lives on campus in a dorm, or would you prefer living off campus when you have the option to? How much is it going to cost for you to actually live in the dorms? How much is it going to cost for you to move out of the dorms and onto into apartments that may require you to have a job while you're a student? Are you prepared to have to work and balance your work and academic schedule? So all those are things to kind of think about when you're thinking of living on campus or not. And it should be understood that most colleges do require first year students and sometimes even second year students to live on campus. So you will probably be bound to be on campus for at least 1 year. And of course, the cost. That's one of the most important things that you need to think about. Can your family afford to pay for the higher cost of a private school, or is it more feasible for you to go to a public institution and stay in state? So we'll talk a little bit about the types of different colleges here, 4 year versus 2 year, community colleges, HBCUs, universities, public and private schools. And you're free to do additional research on your own as well with your families. So in order for you to be eligible for North Carolina public 4 year colleges, the minimum requirements are to have a 2.5 weighted GPA and an ACT score minimum of a 19 or SAT of a 1010. And of course, you have to meet the high school course requirements as well. That would open you up to be able to be considered for any of the 16 UNC system institutions. For 2 year requirements, there generally are not any. Most of those schools are considered open enrollment, meaning that if anyone who applies to the college is automatically going to be accepted. You may, however, be required to take placement tests based on your GPA or your test scores from high school. And that would be to really determine where you'll be placed, whether it's remedial classes or straight into college level courses. Four-year universities are where you would attend to receive your bachelor's degree. They would include universities and liberal arts colleges. Many of them house smaller colleges within the university, such as the College of Liberal Arts or the College of Engineering, the College of Health Sciences, the College of Nursing, and things like that. And they can prepare you for a variety of careers or for graduate study if you choose to continue your studies. 2 year community colleges offer transfer pathways to 4 year institutions, or you can receive your associate's degree or short term career ready certificates that will take anywhere from a few months to earn up to a year and a half or two. They are affordable options with relatively low costs, and they operate again in open admissions, meaning that if you apply, you're automatically accepted. Vocational and technical colleges are those that include more particular specialized um, programs for certain careers like firefighting, dental hygienist, culinary arts, things of that nature. Art colleges are geared towards students who want to continue their work in progress in the arts. So whether it's dance, music, photography, theater, you can attend an art college or a conservatory so you can continue to focus on your craft. Public universities are those that are funded by local and state governments, usually offering a lower tuition cost than private colleges, especially if you are an in-state student attending those colleges. And then private colleges will rely mostly on tuition and fees and then private sources of funding, but a lot of times they're able to give some pretty generous financial aid packages. HBCUs are near and dear to my heart, as I am the product of an HBCU. They are historically Black colleges and universities, and they offer nurturing environments where students are challenged in their academics, but they're also encouraged in a family-like setting to really grow and develop holistically. You do not have to be Black or African American or a minority to attend an HBCU, and many of them offer smaller class sizes and more personalized attention. They are both public and private, and many of them are actually Division One in athletics or even Division Two. And just a fun fact, there are 11 HBCUs in the state of North Carolina and 8 in South Carolina. So now that you've decided that you do want to attend a college, and you've kind of narrowed down your selection, how do you choose a major? For some people, it's really easy because you've been thinking about this major or this career since you were in kindergarten. I want to be a doctor or a lawyer, or I want to be, an engineer. But for others, it's kind of a difficult thing to process, and that's okay. You want to start by thinking about what you're good at, what you like, and what kind of career goals you have. Then you're going to want to speak to some professionals in those fields, and start researching those careers. This is a great opportunity to start looking at internships or job shadows to see if what you think would happen in those careers is actually what's going to be happening. Definitely have some backup ideas for your majors. Sometimes students get to college and realize that the major that they chose initially, they're not suited for it, be it because the classes are much more challenging than they expected, or because their exposure to other careers, ideas, and majors has actually changed shifted their focus to a different type of major. So it's a good idea to think about at least one or two other things you would be interested in studying, either if the college you're looking at doesn't have that major, or in the event that you choose something different later on. And it's definitely okay for you to go in undecided or undeclared. Talked about that a little bit before. You don't have to have your whole life figured out at the age of 17 or 18 years old. It's okay if you don't know everything about yourself or what you want to pursue. But just definitely have an open mind and go in undeclared or undecided, and they can kind of help you figure out once you get there based on what kind of classes you're taking, more of what you're interested in and what kind of direction you should go in for a major. So Naviance is a tool that we here at Butler use all the time for our students, and we're really, really excited that we have the opportunity to share it with you. Take advantage of all that it has to offer. The access instructions are included on our website. It's really, really easy to access. You don't have to have a password, but it's a great resource to use for personality, career, and college exploration. You have been assigned different activities throughout your high school career that will help you on the journey to kind of figure out your post-secondary plan. And we'll talk more about that. So as freshmen in Naviance, you were given access to something called the Resume Builder, where you put in information about who you are as an employee, if you are an employee at that point, and you can continue updating it throughout the course of your high school career. You also were given access to something called the Strengths Explorer, and that kind of helps you identify the areas of interest that you might have. Then, as a sophomore, you were given access to the Do What You Are personality assessment, and then you also have access to continue to build your resume. This year, as a junior, you should have been starting the Supermatch college search and starting to build a list of colleges that you're thinking about. And then next year, those colleges that you're thinking about will move to the colleges that you're applying to. And that's when the application process actually starts. That's really exciting. It's a lot going into it, but we will be here 100% every step of the way to kind of help you through that. Also, if you have not access any of the previous activities before junior year, you still do have access to complete those things if you want to have them as activities to kind of give you a deeper understanding of who you are and what you're looking for. Just see your counselor if you have questions about it. So rising seniors, this is the time for you to be really digging into Naviance to start your senior year planning. You can start with the colleges I'm thinking about. That's what we just discussed on the previous slide, where you put in different criteria to that will kind of help you navigate what colleges you're going to apply to, and then narrow the list down to which ones you're going to actually be sending the applications in for. It's called the Super Match. That's where you enter all that criteria, and it's really easy to use. We'll do some demonstrations in some later videos to kind of show you how to navigate through there. But it's a really helpful tool, and you can put in really precise and individualized criteria to who you are to get a really accurate list of what schools would be a good match for you. Some of the college events that we have coming up for you guys as Butler students would be some rep visits. We have a number of colleges that come to Butler on our campus to do presentations for 30 or 45 minutes for our students, where they're going to discuss academic admission requirements, as well as the costs, student and campus life, majors, things like that. It's open to juniors and seniors. You do have to sign up on the Student Services website, and we can talk more about how you would sign up to visit those presentations in the future. We also take a number of students to college fairs. For again, 11th and 12th grade students are invited to attend on and off campus college fairs, one of which is in the fall. That's called the Cackrell College Fair, where we take about 60 students to a college fair here locally, and they're able to have access to 100 or more colleges from across the country. We also have another spring fair that CMS invites a number of students to attend on their own, and they also have over 100 colleges that are present for that as well. And then here at Butler in the spring, we have our very own HBCU College Fair. This would have been our second year putting that fair on. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we had to cancel, but hopefully we'll be back next year to invite another, 20 plus HBCUs to come, not only from North and South Carolina, but the Southeastern region in general to give information about their schools. This is an opportunity where students can be accepted on site as well as given on site scholarships. So if you have not decided by the spring of your senior year where you want to go, it's a great opportunity for you to be accepted right there on site and see what you qualify for in the way of scholarship. The admission tests that you have to take to be considered for colleges are the ACT and or SAT. You can take both. You can take one or the other, whichever one you prefer. We recommend that you take both to kind of see how you do on both. You may be better at one than the other. The ACT, they're both standardized tests, but the ACT is similar to the SAT. The ACT, you will be tested on English, reading, math, and science. The writing portion is optional. We do recommend that you take the writing portion at least once, just to have a score on file in case a school does require it. All Butler students have taken the ACT as of their junior year, so you should have taken that in February, and it is free. If you want to take it a second or third time even, you must register and pay for it on your own. You can do that at www.act.org. The SAT is similar to the ACT. You're tested on reading, writing, and math. There's also an optional essay section in that test, and again, we do recommend that you take it at least once. The scores are a little bit different than the ACT, and you can see the differences here. If you want to register for that test, it is not given at Butler. You will be having to register on collegeboard.org. Same thing for the SAT subject test. It's not always required that these 20 tests are taken for colleges, but some of those more selective schools will require you to have a score on file. So again, you register for the subject test at collegeboard.org as well. NCAA eligibility is important for students who plan to participate in collegiate sports. You have to be certified and registered. Excuse me. We do recommend that you register as early as possible because there are a number of things that have to be input into that system, and it's always better to get that done early than not. We do have to upload your high school transcripts in there when you initially register, and then again when you're graduating. So if you need help with that process, you can ask your counselor, or you can go to ncaa.org to go ahead and register. Paying for college is one of the most important things about the college going process, and you pay for college through financial aid or scholarships, or a combination of both even. These are monies that the government and or other organizations are either giving you or lending you to help you pay for college. You must apply to qualify for financial aid. Scholarships are based on either merit, which is, how well you've done on your transcript as a student, your need, how much money you actually need to attend, athletics, or other things like your hobbies, your interests, your majors, ethnicity, and things of that nature. There's no limit to the amount of scholarships that you can apply to. And quite frankly, the more you apply to, the better chance you have of being granted an award. So we recommend that you apply to as many as you possibly can. Do your research and apply early. We have a scholarship link on our website where Ms. Ortega does a fantastic job of keeping it updated. And we find that some of those scholarships cycle from year to year. So it's a great idea this summer to be looking on that scholarship website to see what the requirements are for each one. If you qualify, start making a list of those scholarships now so that you can apply as a senior and not have to do such grand searches. You already have an idea of what you qualify for. Scholarships on that website are not exhausted in that list. You can search for your own scholarships. Sometimes parents work for companies or corporations that offer scholarships for their students. So you're not only bound to the list that we have here at Butler. You can look for scholarships anywhere. This is just a graphic that kind of shows you how the financial aid process works. Financial aid is broken down into a few different categories like loans, which is broken down into federal or private. These are monies that you do have to pay back with interest, and they come from the federal government or private sectors. Then there are grants and scholarships. That is money that you're given and you are not responsible for paying back. And then there's also federal work study that offers part-time jobs to students to help them pay for their college. I'm going to go back. Last thing about this is the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. This is a very important application. Most schools are going to require students to fill it out, even if their parents are paying cash for college. But it is an indicator of how much you might qualify for government monies, and the information that you receive from that is something that schools are going to want to know about. So it opens October 1st. You're going to go to FAFSA.gov, and that is where you fill out the application. You are required to submit information about income for yourself as well as your parents. You can match it, or you can connect the FAFSA with your IRS tax returns without having to actually input the information. So we'll talk more about the FAFSA as we get through the senior year. Senior year, here we are. You guys are approaching it in a couple of months. If you have not started thinking about what you plan to do after high school, please start now. If you need help, we are here to help you flesh out some of those details and ideas and thoughts that you might have. Start your college applications early if you do plan on going to college. You can start working on your applications as early as this summer. You may not be able to submit them because you may not have all the documents you need, but you can at least start those applications this summer, and that's a great idea, especially if you consider that there are going to be so many activities happening in the fall, possibly football games and homecomings and different activities in and outside of school that you might want to participate in. But if you have not started the college application process, it's going to be a lot to be doing that and enjoying your senior year. So as early as you can, go ahead and start that process. Meet with your counselor during senior meetings. We are obligated to meet with every senior to give you guys an idea of where you stand in terms of graduation. We're going to talk to you about what you've already taken and what you still need to take in order to graduate. We'll go over how many credits you have. We'll go over your GPA. We'll talk to you about your future plans. We can suggest some colleges that you might want to apply to. We can suggest a branch of the military. Perhaps we can link you with the appropriate personnel within our building and even maybe outside of our building to help you really pursue whatever goals you have. But just make sure that you are meeting with your counselor senior year. We are a great resource to you. Your transcripts will be ready 2 weeks after the start of school. I know that you guys get really excited about applying to college and everything, and you want to have that updated transcript, but it's not going to be available until the second week of school. So as long as you can kind of keep that in mind, that gives you a time frame to know when to line up your applications to have them complete, except for the transcript part. And then, of course, attend the presentations that we have for Senior Parent Night and Financial Aid Night. There's a great wealth of knowledge that's going to be shared with parents and students alike from our partner at the Foundation of the Carolinas. She comes out and does a presentation about financial aid that's really, really good. And we can answer questions from parents and students about what the whole process looks like. So it's a lot to take in. There's a lot that's going to be happening for you your senior year, and you as parents as well. But we are here to help you. We are here to partner with you and walk you through these processes. But stay in touch with us, ask us questions. We will include a link to this video if you have additional questions that were not discussed in this presentation, or if you want to talk more in depth about a particular part of it, then we'll give you an opportunity to do that with the link. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you guys really soon. We miss you, Butler students, and welcome to your senior year.